So I don't know if this is going to work, but what I did is I just cut it with a bunch of straight cuts with my radial saw here. Best tool ever, by the way. So what I'm going to try to do is take that and now grind it into a circular sort of circular shape, like a dome shape, I guess. So I'll give it a shot and probably fail. Okay, so here's what I did. I rounded it. I used my bench grinder, which I have mounted. I have several tools. There's my vise, and you can see they were mounted on those 1-bys. And what I do when I want them is I just clamp them into my bench vise. Clever, huh? I don't know if that's going to work. I don't know if it has to be really precisely round. I won't know until I'm banging on it. And at that point it might turn out that this is a complete failure, but I hope not. I think you know, I'm just, you know, I'm low budget here. I'm not going to do this isn't going to be the Spangin' helm of kings. It's just going to be my Viking helmet. So I squared it up, and that's so that I can stick it in the vise and it'll hold tight, and I can stick it in any direction, which it seems like works best, considering that the top here isn't exactly uniform. Okay, so here I'm working on the base of the helmet. I've marked it off. I just made sure I overlapped. I did everything in 1.5 inch increments, just because, I don't know, just because that seemed easy. And it turns out it is pretty easy. It's a good measurement for this, because it's divisible by thirds. Well, what I did is I went ahead and marked off where the cross pieces, the pieces that are going to come across the top, are going to meet. This is the area where one half will overlap the other half. So it's a little hard to show while holding the camera, but you get the idea. So there's going to be an overlap, and that's the marking for it. And then I went ahead and marked off halfway, straight across. I measured from the center. So this would be the center of the, this line is the center of the very front of the helmet. That's going to be the very center of the very front of the helmet. And this is the center of the very back of the helmet. And then you go 3/4 inch on either side to get the measurements for the sides of where the cross piece is going to go. And then measure halfway between this and that to get where the other cross piece is going to go. Now, to make the holes, I wanted them to be fairly uniform, so I'm going to make this little template here, which I just measured, and it turns out that it didn't really look right to actually have the holes exactly 1/2 inch in, which would have been 1/3 from either side. They kind of got bunched towards the center, and it just didn't look right to me. So I ended up just fudging it and using I guess that's a centimeter. Now please, don't hate me for using the metric system. I had to do it just because it was easy. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this into a little template. Here's my handy dandy camera stand slash I can't ever remember what I'm calling that thing. Dishing post. And so I'm just going to turn this so that I can see myself. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to do my best to make the holes exactly right. There's one. And so you get the idea. And then I can use this as a little jig. Tell you, you do have to be careful. You know what? I'm going to make those crosses a little better. You do have to be careful because if you don't get it centered, then none of them will be centered. And I don't know, you want it to look as good as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just a Halloween costume. I'm not going to be showing it in a museum or anything, but so I made those crosses a little bigger. That way I can see them on all four sides of this thing and kind of make sure that it's centered on the center of the hole as best I can before punching it. Yep. So see, now I can take that and I can draw holes there, all along here. I draw all my holes. So it'll be easy to do. I won't have to do any measurements again. And what I'm going to end up doing is taking this piece and using it to cut out my metal piece and actually draw the holes on there with this, or there'll be holes in here. I'll just draw them on through here and then drill them, and then it'll be already ready to be drilled, and I don't have to figure that all out again. Woohoo!